Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. So a little bit different this video today. I am bringing you one of my live saved classes from my membership platform. So this is a 40-minute mat Pilates class. I really hope you enjoy it. If you do, please check out my website, www.pilatesandyoga.com. For $8.99 a month, you get access to 5 live classes a week, similar to this. There are 3 Pilates classes and 2 yoga each week. And as well as that, there is over 150 exclusive videos on there that are not on my YouTube channel. And I also add to that every week. So it's always growing. Any questions, drop it in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoy this Pilates flow on the mat. So whenever you're ready, coming down onto your backs. So just making yourself comfortable, back of the head on the ground. We're going to take both legs out long, taking both arms overhead and take a full body stretch. So let's just start by making some space, especially I know a few of you are a little bit achy. Some of you maybe haven't done anything for a while. So we're just going to stretch out, make some space through the rib cage, maybe flex the feet, try and get the heels off the ground, really lengthen from fingers to toes. And then when you feel ready, draw the right knee into the chest, hug that right knee in, pulling that right knee in towards you, try and get the thigh to connect to the torso, leaving the head and shoulders on the ground for now. And then extend that right leg away, come back into a full body stretch. Make space before you bring the left knee into the chest. Ease that left knee in towards you. Head and shoulders stays down on the ground. And then once again, we extend both arms, both legs, lengthening away. When you feel ready, bringing both knees in towards the chest. So hugging both knees in, imprint that lower back into the ground, keeping the head and shoulders down. Just find that connection between thighs and torso. And then we'll slowly pop both feet onto the floor, feet hip distance apart and knees parallel. Bringing the hands down by your sides. Basic bridge, tucking the tailbone under, lifting the hips off the ground, pressing the hips all the way up towards the ceiling. So you're coming onto the shoulder blades. And then as you roll down, draw the belly in towards the spine. Think about massaging your back on the way down and the bottom touches the ground last. We do that a few times. So we tuck the tailbone under, lift the bottom, press your hips all the way up towards the ceiling. Try to keep those knees parallel. Hips are level here. And then we roll down through the spine, massaging out the back, starting to activate the tummy. Let's do this one more time. So lifting the tailbone up, pressing the hips high. So we're starting to warm up through the body here, waking ourselves up this morning, and then rolling down through the spine slowly, slowly. Once you get to the bottom, just taking a little rock, both knees side to side. So gently moving the knees side to side. A big window wiper with the legs here, releasing any tension, any tightness through the lower back. And then we'll slowly arrive back to center, bringing the feet and the knees together now. So your knees are touching, your feet are touching. Activate through the belly. So make sure you're drawing the belly in towards the spine. We exhale as we open the knees to a diamond shape. And then inhale as you bring the knees back together. Okay. So we exhale, open the knees wide, feet stay together. And then inhale, bring the knees back. So keeping that going, your head should be relaxed, shoulders are down, opening and closing the knees, but really think about switching on your belly. So drawing the belly towards the spine, and this will help activate the lower tummy as well. Now, what we're going to do is open those legs and stay there. So you're in a diamond shape. Soles of the feet come together, knees are open wide. Keeping the shape of the legs, we exhale, lift the feet off the floor, and then inhale, just gently tap those feet back down. Okay, so we're going to exhale, lifting the feet up, and inhale, tapping the feet down. So we're keeping the legs in a diamond shape. The knees are open wide. Doesn't have to be a massive movement. If you are feeling a pull on your lower back, I would suggest putting your hands underneath your coccyx, underneath the very top part of the bottom, and that will give you a little bit of support and lift the floor height for you. Okay, so you've got that option to tuck the hands underneath the coccyx if you are feeling this in your back. Okay, so we're keeping that going. We are working on opening the knees to activate the inner thighs, working on the lower belly here, into the pelvic floor and into those hips. So moving nice and gentle. Let's lift those legs up and see if we can keep the legs there. So our feet are together. We're in a diamond shape. Now we're going to There we go. I'm back. Sorry, I knew that I turned my mic off. I leaned on it. Okay, so the legs are lifted. You're in diamond shape. You're going to bring the knees close together and then open the knees apart. Okay, so you're keeping the legs lifted. The knees come together and then you open the knees apart. So you're keeping that diamond shape, but this time you're keeping the legs lifted. The heels should be away from the bottom and you're really switching on that belly, squeezing the knees together and gently taking those knees apart. Let's do that one more time. Knees together, open out into the diamond shape, pop your feet back down onto the ground, leave the legs as they are, just let the knees fall down towards the earth, taking both arms overhead. So stretch the upper body here, lengthening through the spine, but the legs are remaining in diamonds. And now we interlace the hands together and put the hands behind your head. So legs are wide, elbows are touching the ground, stretching out through the chest. Let's basic crunch. Exhale, lift the upper body off the ground. Start to look down to your toes. And then inhale as you put your head back onto the floor. Okay, so we exhale coming up. Look down towards the end of the mat and inhale as we lower. So the legs are remaining in diamond shape to switch on the lower tummy. The hands are supporting the head. Try not to pull your head. Just have it there as a slight comfort. And you're sliding the ribs down towards the hips as you scoop the belly button towards the spine. So breathing out as you come up to get the best results and inhaling as you slowly lower down. Okay, let's do two more here. So we're starting to wake up the abdominals around the top and the lower section now. Last one, we're going to come up and hold. So lift and hold into your ab crunch. Try to get your shoulder blades off the floor. Peel the elbows back. Leave the upper body where it is. We bring the knees together as we did earlier and then open the knees apart. So I clam those legs. The knees come together to touch and then we open the knees apart. Okay, so we're going to keep that going. Knees together and then knees apart. So ideally, we're lifting the head and shoulders. The eye line is looking to the ends of the mat. However, if your upper body fatigues, please put your head onto the ground and continue with legs only. Okay, so lots of modifications here. We're going to take one more, last one. And then we open the legs to the diamond shape. You guessed it. We're going to lift the legs off the ground in that diamond shape as you breathe out. Inhale as you tap the feet back down to the floor. Okay, so exactly the same what we did a moment ago. We're lifting the legs in our diamonds and then lowering the legs down in our diamonds. But you've got the option here to put your head and shoulders on the floor or to keep the upper body lifted and to look down to the end of the mat. Okay. Remember, you're at home, so you can take any option you want to. So something is better than nothing, right? But we're moving slow. We're really switching on through that lower tummy, and we're keeping those legs wide to work the inner thighs too. Let's lift into that diamond and hold if you can. Try and get your shoulder blades a bit higher. Now the knees close together, and then we open the knees apart. So the knees come together, and then we open the knees apart. So the feet are staying together the whole time. Option to have your head down or your head lifted. If your head is lifted, please make sure your eye line is looking through the legs, not up towards the ceiling. And scoop and hollow that belly as we close those knees together and then open them apart. So really strong, really stable. One more time here, last one. Gently, I invite you to pop your feet back down to the ground. I invite you to pop your head back down on the floor. Take the hands, placing them on your thighs, and try to push your legs away from your chest. That sounds silly, but try and push your legs in the other direction to your upper body. So you're decompressing the spine. You're taking a little stretch out through the base of the spine, making space. And now bring those knees together and let's all come back into our full body stretch, arms and legs, lengthen away. So we've opened up here through the torso and we've started to switch on those core muscles. So now when you're ready, I invite you to roll onto your side. So we'll come onto our left sides first. So we're going to roll onto the left side. You're going to have the left arm out in front of you, have the right hand behind your head, okay? Nice. So that diamond shape is coming back, I'm afraid. You can see a theme coming here today. You're going to bend your knees, open the knees, and find a diamond shape with those legs. So left arm's out in front of you. You're on your left bottom cheek, and the right elbow and the right knee are pressing up to the ceiling, yeah? From here, leave your head down, lift the legs off the ground, and then gently place them back down, okay? So exhale, lifting both legs, and inhaling as you lower. So your legs are trying to stay in that diamond shape. We want to keep the inner thighs, the hips, the pelvis really open here. And that's going to switch on your pelvic floor, your lower tummy muscles, all the way down through the inner thighs. So I am on the left bottom cheek. So you're slightly rolled back, okay? And the chest is fully open. Legs are lifting and lowering. If you feel this is enough for you today, please feel free to continue here. If you'd like to add on, as I lift the legs, I reach through towards my feet. You can see I've come onto the left forearm and the armpit has come off the ground. Then I tap the legs down as my head goes back down too. So I'm crunching up, reaching through the legs, and then gently tapping down to the floor. Okay, so slowly coming up, and then gently coming down. So as I lift the upper body up, I'm pressing into the left forearm slightly, making space between the left rib cage and the ground, still maintaining that diamond shape as we reach through into this crunch, working into the obliques here. So getting into the waist, down through the rib cage, through the side body. Okay, let's see if we can do 2 more. Exhaling as you come up, inhaling as you go down. We're going to do 1 more, okay? There's going to be a few options now because we're going to bring those legs in and hold. Whether you want to bring the upper body up and hold as well is up to you. So you'll either be here or down on the floor. Everyone's going to bring their right hand behind their heads and everybody's going to straighten their legs. So you should all be on your left bottom cheek. Everyone should have their right hand behind their head, their legs straight. And it's your choice whether you're on the left forearm or your body's down on the ground. Top leg lifts and lowers. So top leg only is going to lift. And it sounds so simple, doesn't it? But everything is switched on. Might even get cramped through those obliques right now. So we're moving slow. My left leg is staying off the floor. The right leg is coming up and down every time we exhale. Right elbow's peeling back. Okay, if you have taken the other option, you would be here. Yeah, so your head would be on the ground. Your left arm would be out in front of you. And that is okay to be here. Yeah, some of you might be new to this whole Pilates world and your body might be in a little bit of shock mode. So feel free to modify. Don't push yourself to a point that is too much, okay? So exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you lower. Let's see if we can lift that right leg and hold. So now your left leg is off the floor, your right leg is off the floor. Lift a little bit higher through the upper body if you're there. And now what we're going to do with the top leg is pulse it up and up. So tiny little pulses here. Exhale, exhale. The left leg is off the ground. The right leg is doing the work. You're using your exhale as you lift that leg for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on down. Beautiful. Bend those knees when you're ready. Pressing yourself up. We're staying on the left-hand side. I'm going to pop the left hand underneath the shoulder. Both knees are bent here, got both legs bent. As we sweep this right arm up, I invite you to lift your hips off the floor, finding a half side plank variation. You then bring your hips down as the right hand comes back down to the mat, okay? So you exhale, lift yourself up, press your hips forwards, squeeze your bottom as you press the hips through, and control as you come down. If this is too much on the wrist, on the shoulder, know that you could do the arm only. Okay, so if that feels enough for you, you're still going to build some strength through the supporting wrist, the supporting shoulder. So if you'd like to work by lifting the top arm and keeping the bottom down, that's okay. Or you would be lifting the hips as well. Try to do it slowly, elegantly. Try not to land back down with a thump. We go down as slow as we come up. Now, that little clam vibe that we're going with today, that's going to sneak into this section too. So what we're going to do is come up with the top arm and hold. Maybe your hips are up or maybe your hips are down. We then open the right knee and close the right knee. Okay, so here I go. So I open the top leg and then close the top leg. So pressing the left hand into the ground, sweeping the right arm up, both hips are coming forwards, chest is open, squeezing the bottom as you pull that right knee back, exhaling every time you do. Also trying to get those knees back together at the same time, knowing that you could be on the bottom. You don't have to be up here in the half side plank. You could be down doing this variation here where you're working on the knee with the arm lifted. Yeah, and that's okay too. We'll go for 3 more. Exhaling, lifting, inhaling, closing. Last 2. And we've got 1 more time. We're not going to come down too quick, are we? Of course not. We're going to come down slowly, reset, release, and let's come over onto the other side. Great work. Okay, so when you are ready, coming over onto your right side now. So the right arm is going to come out in front of you. The left hand's going to come behind the head. You bend the knees in, finding that diamond shape when you're ready. So your head is down, upper body is relaxed, legs are open in diamond. We lift both legs up and then we tap both legs down. So we're going to do this sequence on the other side. Exhaling as we lift the legs, inhaling as we lower. So you're on your right bottom cheek. Try to make sure you're not stacking the hips for this bit. Otherwise you won't have the range of movement. The left arm is peeling up to the ceiling to work on our posture. And those legs are staying open in that diamond shape to switch on. Your left leg might start to feel a little tired, a little fatigued. Use your breath and do what you can, right? It's your start to this morning. You've turned on the computer and unrolled your mat, and that's always a bonus. So anything that happens, well done. If you would like to add the top half, then we are going to reach the left arm through the legs. We come onto the forearm of the right, and then we gently come back down. Okay, so we're exhaling as we come up. Knees are open, and then we inhale as we lower. The legs don't change at the moment. They're staying in their diamond shape. You've got the option to lift the upper body. So I'm pressing onto the right forearm, trying to make space between the right rib cage and the ground. And we're taking a side crunch here, getting into the side body on the left-hand side, working through those waist muscles, exhaling as you come up. So we scoop and hollow through the belly. And remember, try not to move too quick, precise and controlled for our Pilates class. And also making sure when you go down, you go as smoothly as when you come up. Now, remember, you've got the 2 options because we're going to lift the legs and hold. Whether your upper body is lifted or not is your choice. We take the left hand behind the head And we all straighten our legs. So pull up through those thighs, lift away from the right forearm. You're on your right bottom cheek. Left leg lifts and lowers. So left leg is lifting and lowering. Now, remember, your range of movement will be very different to mine, to anybody else's. If that leg is moving, great, you're winning, okay? If you want to put your underneath leg on the floor, you could modify that way. Or remember, you could have your head on the floor and the right arm out long in front of you. You're slightly twisted here to really switch on through this left side body. And we're exhaling every time we lift. Maybe legs are feeling a little bit heavy, or hips, especially if you did my class yesterday. So I apologize there, but keep smiling, keep coming. Let's lift that left leg and hold. So the legs are kind of hip distance apart now. The right leg is still away from the floor. Don't collapse into this shoulder. Lift, lift, lift. We pulse the top leg up and up. Everyone's favorite word is a pulse or a hold, I feel. So lift that leg for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Good. Okay. Bending those knees, pressing onto your right hand. So the right hand comes underneath the shoulder, knees are bent, and then we sweep the left arm up as we lift the hips off the ground. And then that left arm comes down as the bottom comes back to the floor. So you're pressing away from that right hand, open out through the chest, and then control as you lower. Remembering our modification is to sweep the arm up and to leave the hips down on the mats. You want to spread those fingertips wide, really press away. Don't collapse into the shoulder. Squeeze in the bottom as you press the hips forwards and opening out through that chest. Using the exhale. Try to stay up there for a split second if you can. And also remember to control the coming down as well. So this is great to work on isolating single side. So we're working on the shoulder, the arm, the wrist, but we're also working on opening the front body, pressing the hips forwards, working on our posture. And we know what's coming. So we're going to finish off this series. We're going to lift and hold, and then we're going to clam those legs. So the top leg lifts and closes. So we open and close the top leg. Option to stay in this half plank variation or to keep the hips down on the ground. Chest is open, switch the core on, and exhale as you open the legs, inhale as you bring them together. We've got 3 here, last 2 to go. Try not to speed it up, 2 more, and then our very last 1. Beautiful. Bring it all the way down. Let's come to lay down onto your fronts when you're ready. So coming over onto your bellies, we're going to pop one hand on top of the other, and we're going to pop our foreheads onto our hands. Okay, so maybe give the neck a little roll, turn the head side to side, release off any tension through the upper body. Now that diamond is coming back. We're going to bend the knees, flex the feet so your heels are touching, and then take your knees wide apart. So we're making that diamond shape again. So knees are wide and heels are together. Keeping the feet facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to do 1 leg at a time first, because 2 legs at a time straight away is a little brutal. So we're going to exhale. I invite you to push 1 foot up to the ceiling, and you're trying to get the knee off the ground. And then you lower down and we change sides. So our exhale lifts, inhale, lower. Alternating legs, exhale, lifts, inhaling, lower. So when I say try to get your knee off the floor, please don't panic if you're thinking, oh my gosh, my leg feels stuck to the ground. That's perfectly normal. I just invite you to think about pushing your foot up to the ceiling, keeping it bent, and trying to get the knee off the mat. If you find your hips are a little bit sore here, you could roll onto, have a towel underneath you or a rolled up blanket. You could even fold over your mat a little bit, because you might find the hips pressing into the floor slightly uncomfortable. So feel free to adapt that. Trying not to twist the hips as you lift the leg. Try and keep the hips square to the ground.
Now, if it's accessible for you, some people, this might be way too challenging. Please don't worry. I'm going to keep the heels together and lift both knees off the ground and then lower. But this is very intense. So please don't take it if you've got any back injuries. I would advise sticking with one leg at a time and alternating. Or if you feel comfortable here, you could exhale, push both heels up to the ceiling, try and get those knees off the ground and really start to feel it through the lower back, the bottom, and the backs of the thighs. So we're working the back chain of the body here. So pressing up as you breathe out, inhaling as we lower. So let's go for 2 more, last 2 here. One more time, big press all the way up. And then we leave the legs there. Let's take our hands underneath our shoulders now, and we're going to press ourselves up. So use your breath, keeping the legs wide in that diamond shape. You can relax the feet though. They don't need to be flexed, okay? Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are wide. You're going to pop the feet down, lead with your bottom and come into a wide leg child's pose. So bottom towards the heels, forehead comes down towards the mat, reaching those arms through. So legs are wide, yeah? And then from here, I'm going to ripple forwards again. So I'm going to lift the bottom, lift the feet, and come back into that half high plank variation where my legs are wide. Okay, so I'm still in that diamond shape. Then again, I'm going to lead with the bum and come back into wide leg child's pose. So I'm going to keep going between these 2 postures. Again, maybe if your knees are feeling a little uncomfortable here, feel free to take a towel, a rolled up blanket, some pillows, place them underneath the knee if you want to. And we're keeping those legs wide to work on opening the pelvis, transitioning the weight forwards into that half high plank, making sure you don't collapse the hips, and then coming back into our wide leg child's pose. Nice, good. Let's try that once more. Last one here. Staying strong, activating through the core, and then we'll all come back into child's pose and pause here. Let the forehead drop. Take a few big breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, allowing the hips to open, breathing into the back body here. And then when you feel comfortable, let's walk the hands in towards you, taking your weight over onto the bottom now. So you're going to bring those feet out from underneath you. Just shimmy yourself forward so that you have the length of the mat behind you. And when you come to the front of your mat, you guessed it, we're going to pop the soles of the feet together, have the knees wide. And firstly, I invite you to take your hands forwards, to bow the head down and to take a gentle stretch while we're here. So soles of the feet together, knees falling down, gravity's pulling the knees down to the ground. You're hinging from the hips as you let the head drop, the back curve, and just take a simple breath while we're here, opening out through those hips. So we're going to continue with this diamond pose today. I'm going to reach the arms up to bring them forwards, chest height, make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Maybe you might want to take the feet a little further away or a little closer towards you. It's up to you to modify there. And we're going to C-curve. So if you watch the back, I'm going to tuck the tailbone under, draw the belly button towards the spine as I look down at my belly. And then inhale as you activate the tummy and slowly reset to a straight spine. Okay, so exhale, tucking the tailbone under, rolling yourself back. And then inhale, sweep up, stay really strong as you lengthen the spine. Now, you might find doing this, you feel that you're not going very far. You feel like you're quite restrictive because we're used to doing these C-curve rollbacks with either bent knees parallel or straight legs. But by opening the knees here, it makes it a lot more intense because you're switching on that lower tummy, that pelvic floor area. So maybe make the movement smaller, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be really big. It has to be smooth and controlled. So exhaling as you tuck under, inhaling as you come up. Let's come all the way back to a point that you can hold, and then bring your elbows back, placing your forearms down onto the ground. Slide the heels a little bit closer to your bottom. So you're now on the forearms, legs are still in diamond, and eye line is looking through towards the end of the mat. Make sure you don't collapse here like this. Try and press away from the forearms so you're active through the shoulders. Draw the belly button into the spine. Now bringing those knees together and then opening the knees apart. Okay, so a similar vibe here. We bring the knees together and then we open the knees apart. So what we're doing is working into that lower tummy, and we're staying strong through the upper body here as well now. So if your eye line is looking up towards the ceiling, if you're feeling this too challenging for your neck, my advice would be to lay down on your back and to rest your head on the floor, okay? You don't have to stay here if it gets too much. Let's open those legs to our diamond shape and keep the legs there. We exhale as we lift the legs off the ground, and then inhale as we tap them down, okay? So exhale, the legs lift in the diamonds. Inhale as we tap them down. So like I say, if this starts to get too much for your neck, your shoulders, my advice would be to lay down on the floor, relax the head and shoulders, and we all do the same legs, okay? So really try and keep those knees apart. Keep pressing away from those forearms. And switch on that belly. Okay, legs are starting to get a little shaky. Let's lift and hold. So see if you can lift in that diamond and hold. Bring the knees together. Feet are off the ground now. And then open the knees apart. Great, here we go. So the knees come together. And then we open the knees apart. So small, delicate movements here, working on the hips, the inner thighs, the lower tummy, pressing away from those forearms, squeezing the shoulder blades together and sliding the ribs down towards the hips. Let's take last 3, moving slow, taking your time. We've got 2 more. Using that breath, especially when it gets intense. Last one here, last one. And then popping those feet back down onto the ground, keeping that diamond shape whilst we're here. Okay, everybody now meets down on the floor. So bringing your head down onto the floor, palms of the hands are by your side. Gently turn your head side to side. Make sure there's no tension in the neck. And whilst you're doing that, just slide your heels a little closer towards your bottom. So your heels are quite close to the bottom, soles of the feet together, knees are apart. Allow the head to settle in center. Now we're going to keep this diamond shape, okay? And we're going to take a few bridge works here, okay? So as we're going to lift our bottom off the floor, you leave the outside edges of your feet down and your knees are apart in diamonds. Lift the hips as high as they will go. Now we're not going to spine roll here. We're going to tap the bottom back down to the floor. So my bottom touches and then comes straight back up into bridge. So the bottom touches the mat and then comes straight back up, lifting those hips as high as you can. So these are our bridge taps. Soles of the feet are together. Knees are open wide in diamonds. Palms of the hands are down. Shoulders are down. Head is fully relaxed here. And we are activating through the bottom now, the backs of the thighs, the hamstrings. Keep that core active as well. Don't let the back completely arch. And you're moving slow with control, pressing the hips, trying to keep them level every time they come to the top. Let's see if we can come into this bridge and hold. So lift those hips up, level the hips out, make the knees open nice and wide. Upper body is fully relaxed. And we're going to take a gentle pulse. So we come halfway up, down, up, down, up. Tiny movements, down, up, down, up. Squeeze your bottom, activate the glutes. Keep pressing as high as you possibly can here. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Lift a little higher if possible. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come down, bring those knees together and hugging both knees in towards the chest whenever you are ready. Let's stretch out these hamstrings a little bit, okay? So we're going to take the right leg up towards the ceiling, taking a hamstring stretch, and then I invite you to lengthen the left leg away so the left leg hovers off the ground. So my left leg's hovering off the floor, easing that right leg in towards you. The leg is staying as long as possible. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are gently soft here too. Take a breath while we just pause here, easing that right leg in towards you. A modification would be to put your left leg completely on the floor, okay? I'm going to develop this. Feel free to stay here if you want to, okay? I'm going to leave the legs where they are, and then I'm going to take the hands behind the head and lift into an abdominal crunch. So you could leave your head on the ground and keep hold of that right leg, or we slide the ribs down towards the hips and look down to the ends of the mat. So exhaling through the mouth, inhaling through the nose. See if you can bring that right leg any closer towards you as the left leg lengthens away. We're going to stay here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, head comes down. We hug both knees back in towards the chest. Maybe take a gentle massage here, rocking that back side to side on the mat. Let's take the left leg up for a hamstring stretch when you're ready. Extending the right leg out to a hover now, knowing that your modification is to pop your right leg onto the ground if you need to. Gently easing that left leg in towards you, keeping the upper body relaxed. The neck is lovely and long here. And like I mentioned on the first time, if you'd like to stay here, that's great. This is a powerful posture to be in and a really beneficial stretch for the hamstrings. If you want to switch on the core, we could leave the legs as they are, taking the hands behind the head, lifting the upper body off the mat, eye lines looking down to the end. Really try and lengthen the left leg in, taking the right leg in the opposite direction. Everyone's focusing on slow, steady breaths. We're going to stay here for 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, hugging both knees in as the head comes down on number 1. Leaving the legs there, taking your arms out wide to a T shape and taking both legs over to the left. So let the legs completely drop to the left. Don't hold them up. If your legs don't comfortably reach the floor, you could lean the legs on a pillow, a cushion, a blanket, something like that. Try to keep both shoulder blades down on the ground. Head is fully relaxed here. Just enjoy this twist. Take a big breath into the side body, into the lower back here. Arms gently out wide. And then we'll slowly make our way through center and gently taking our legs the other side. So the legs are coming over now to the right, keeping the shoulder blades down, chest open, allowing the legs to completely fall. Take a few slow breaths here. So that session today was nice and slow, but really strong at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed that session. Know that on the membership platform, this evening we have live yoga, and tomorrow if you want to try doing Pilates with equipment, that's tomorrow night, 6:30. So let's come back through to center, take our full body stretch once again, arms and legs lengthen away, extend through that spine. Now I'm going to roll up to seated. Feel free to come up a different way if you prefer. So rolling up through the spine, bringing yourself up. Let's all come into a hamstring stretch when you're ready. So lengthening through the legs, hinging from the hips. Just allow your body to fall over. Don't worry about touching the toes. Just let the hands come either side of the legs, wherever they naturally go to. Try and allow some relaxation to come into the body here. A few slow, steady breaths. And then we'll slowly take our time to peel ourselves all the way up, bringing yourself into a cross-legged seated position if that feels good for you. Resting the hands down onto the knees. Just take a little side to side flow. So just invite you to move your rib cage side to side. Don't worry if you feel a little bit silly, you're at home, it doesn't matter. So a gentle sway here, side to side, just getting those rib cages shifting laterally here. And then take it forward and back. So I take my ribs forwards and then I take my ribs back. So a little like a cat and cow, like we've done before, pressing the chest through and then drawing the rib cage back as you curve the spine. We're just making sure we have some mobility in the back. We release any tension. So as we leave the mat today, we feel stronger, but we also feel really nice and stretched out. Let's allow that back to settle in center, popping the right hand down. The left arm comes over into a side bend. Try and peel that left arm back so we open through the chest. Don't collapse the arm in front of the face. And then come up and over, bring the left arm down. Right arm comes up, 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 in line with the ear. Pressing that chest forwards. We inhale, bring both arms all the way up, make some space, and exhale as you bring the arms down. Awesome session. Well done, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one today.